Welcome to Harburn Double O, folks. Been a little while since the last video, but I just thought I'll catch up with you just to explain what's happening on the workbench at the moment. So I've had leaking roofs, damp patch in the house, a new roof put in, and still having problems with it, but that's the least of my worries. Let's take you to the workbench and I'll show you what's going on. Well, on the workbench we've got this here. I'll explain it to you in a bit more detail. Up here I've got a servo tester. It costs a couple of pound off the Evo Bay, and it is supplied with 5 volts from a 5 volt power supply, and that works your servo up here. The servo is mounted with a servo mount designed by Fraser Smith from the Tayside Merg group. On the end of it we've got little neodymium magnets, and in here we've got Hall effect sensor. So it moves across, the Hall effect sensor is switched and it indicates what way the point is going. On the board here we've got a 12 volt power supply coming into this part here. This is just a little breadboard power supply. You can do it 5 volts or 3 volts. Same again on Evo Bay there. They're £3 or £4 for these little power supplies. Quite handy. It does take 12 volts down to either 5 volts or 3.3 volts. Up here we've got these wires going back to the Hall effect sensor, be it the voltage supply and also the signal back out at the yellow, and the white and the orange as the signal supplies back to it. So the signal is fed into these two resistors. The first one's a 1K, the next one is an 820 ohm resistor. The 1K is for the red and the 820 is for the green LED. So if I move it across our way, well, it goes out and it gets to our side there, the green light comes on indicating the point has moved. If you can imagine, you've got a bar that sits down here and that sits on the bottom of the layout, or you can have a bar here sitting at the side of your points on your layout, depends how you want to wire them up. So my bar moves across and it is quite reliable. It's electronic feedback rather than mechanical feedback. The only mechanical part is the bar here going backwards and forwards, and it is very, very reliable for your feedback to it. So what could you use the feedback for? Well, you could use it for a variety of things. You could use it for relays to switch your frogs. You can use it for signals to say the point has moved, or as I'm planning to do, to make the points all automated using Rocrail. So these Hall effects will feed back to the computer. I've been experimenting with the Pi WK, with quite a good success rate. I'm also tinkering now with this board here. This is a ESP32 Wroom. It's Wi-Fi based as well. I bought them on the Jungle, and you get 2 boards plus this here, the breakout board, for £12. So it works out to be £6 for the chip and also the breakout board. Why have a breakout board? Well, if you're powering your servos off of this here, it overloads it quite fast. So this takes in 12 volts here, and you can supply your servos here with either 5 volts or 3.3 volts. You can run 12 volts, you can use the 2 USBs there. One's USB-C and the other one's the old B. You can put in 5 volts there, it'll power this here and also power your servos as well. So the idea being there, this can move the servo, you can get the feedback coming into it, and that's got to talk to Rocrail via the PC, and the PC will talk to this via the Wi-Fi as well. So you all need a power supply into it, and you will need the wires feeding in here for the signal, but on the whole quite good. I've got it set up as a WIO 16, so it's got 16 inputs or outputs. It doesn't have to be input or output. You can have 4 or 5 doing inputs or 4 or 5 doing outputs, even 8 and 8. The combination is up to you. There's no set way. The first 4 pins is reserved for servos, so you can do 4 servos with it. With a bit more experimenting, you probably do more than 4 servos, but with the power supply there, you're pushing a bit with 4 servos. But for 4 points, for this here, £6, and this here, under a £5, so you're talking about £11 for your points. It's not too bad itself. So hopefully over the Christmas time I'll get a bit of time to play with this. Still in the early stages of getting it set up. It did take me a long time to work out the software to install from the PC into it via the Rocrail. To say a learning curve was the least, but I got there eventually. So once I start to play with it, I'll get this wired up and I'll do another video for you. The little red bit in the bottom, by the way, is just a wee design I done myself via Fusion 360. It's a little board to stop the wee sharp edges hitting the table and shorting out, so I always make these wee boards up for them. Thanks for watching, folks. Please like, subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you before the end of the year with this working.